The disappearance of 18-year-old Hannah Graham in September 2014 shattered her quiet college town of Charlottesville, Virginia. An ordinary Friday evening turned into a community-wide nightmare as a promising young woman vanished without a trace. Hannah, a second-year student at the University of Virginia, was bright, athletic, and loved by her peers. Born in England and raised in Fairfax County, Virginia, she was known for her intelligence and warmth. But on September 12th, a night that started with laughter and friends took a dark and irreversible turn. Surveillance cameras captured her wandering alone, disoriented and vulnerable, before crossing paths with a man who would later be identified as her killer. Her last known words, overheard as she declined a ride with a stranger, hinted at the danger looming just ahead. Who was Hannah Graham, and what led to her tragic fate? How did her disappearance uncover a predator who had evaded justice for years? Hannah's story is not just a tale of personal loss but a sobering reflection on the dangers we all face and the resilience of those who seek justice. This is a story of life, loss, and the pursuit of answers. Let's begin with who Hannah was and how one fateful night unraveled into tragedy. Hannah Elizabeth Graham was born in Reading, England, in 1996. Her family moved to the United States when she was just 5 years old, settling in Fairfax County, Virginia. Known for her radiant personality, she excelled both academically and athletically, showing particular talent in track and field. Her love for music further highlighted her creative spirit, and she was described by friends as someone who brought energy and light to every room she entered. By the time she enrolled at the University of Virginia, Hannah was thriving in her new environment. She quickly became an integral part of the campus community, balancing her studies with an active social life. However, on the night of September 12, 2014, her life took an unthinkable turn. It began like any other college night out. Hannah joined her friends for a night in downtown Charlottesville, visiting popular spots among students. But as the evening progressed, Hannah became increasingly intoxicated. Her friends lost track of her as she wandered away from the group. By 12:15 a.m., surveillance cameras captured her walking alone on the downtown mall, a historic area dotted with shops and restaurants. She appeared disoriented, weaving between the streets. Shortly afterward, a man named Jesse Matthew approached her. Eyewitnesses reported that he offered to help her, but something about his demeanor unsettled him. At 12:56 a.m., Hannah sent a text to a friend, stating she was lost. This would be the last communication anyone received from her. Surveillance footage showed Matthew walking closely beside Hannah, guiding her toward a direction away from the bustling downtown area. This was the last time Hannah was seen alive. The haunting footage would later become a crucial piece of evidence in piecing together her final moments. The stark contrast between Hannah's vibrant life and the chilling events of that night sent shockwaves through the community. What started as a carefree evening had now spiraled into a mystery that would grip the nation. Next, we'll follow the trail of clues left behind and uncover how law enforcement zeroed in on the man responsible for her disappearance. As Hannah Graham's disappearance became national news, the search for answers quickly intensified. Investigators turned to the surveillance footage from Charlottesville's downtown mall, which offered chilling clues about the final hours before she vanished. The footage showed a man walking beside Hannah, a man who would later be identified as Jesse Matthew. Jesse Leroy Matthew Jr. was a 32-year-old part-time taxi driver and hospital orderly. He was a well-known figure in the area, often seen mingling at local bars and social events. However, beneath his seemingly normal facade lay a history of troubling allegations. Matthew had faced multiple accusations of sexual assault dating back to his college years, though none had led to convictions. On the night of September 12, 2014, witnesses at several bars recalled Matthew making unwelcome advances toward women. Some described him as persistent, lingering at venues long after closing time. It was this behavior that ultimately led him to cross paths with Hannah, who was visibly vulnerable and intoxicated. By analyzing the surveillance footage and eyewitness testimonies, law enforcement pieced together a timeline. Matthew was seen guiding Hannah away from the well-lit streets of the downtown mall and toward a darker, quieter area. The footage offered no evidence of violence but raised red flags about Matthew's intentions. As the search for Hannah progressed, the community rallied, launching one of the largest missing person investigations in Virginia's history. Hundreds of volunteers combed through parks, wooded areas, and abandoned buildings, hoping to find any sign of the missing college student. Meanwhile, law enforcement obtained a search warrant for Matthew's apartment and vehicle. The evidence they uncovered was damning. Fibers and DNA collected from his car matched Hannah's belongings, placing her in his vehicle. Additionally, surveillance footage revealed inconsistencies in Matthew's account of the night, prompting a manhunt when he fled the state. Days later, Matthew was apprehended on a beach in Texas. His arrest brought a wave of relief, but it also marked the beginning of a chilling revelation. Forensic analysis not only linked him to Hannah Graham but also tied him to the unsolved 2009 murder of Morgan Dana Harrington, another young woman who had disappeared in the Charlottesville area. The DNA evidence left no doubt Jesse Matthew was a predator who had evaded justice for years. His connection to multiple cases exposed systemic flaws in tracking repeat offenders and highlighted the urgency of reforms in how sexual assault allegations are handled. For Hannah's family and community, the discovery of her remains on October 18, 2014, in a remote wooded area was both devastating and essential for closure. Items of her clothing and personal effects were found nearby, corroborating the evidence against Matthew. The trail of Jesse Matthew was one of persistence and heartbreak. It revealed not only the predator's calculated movements but also the resilience of a community determined to seek justice for its daughters. Next, we will examine the resolution of this case, the court proceedings, and the societal changes it ignited. Jesse Matthew's arrest in September 2014 marked the beginning of the legal process that would finally bring justice for Hannah Graham and Morgan Harrington. Investigators were meticulous in building their case, ensuring there would be no room for doubt. The DNA evidence linking Matthew to both crimes was overwhelming, and he faced multiple charges, including capital murder, abduction, and sexual assault. Matthew initially pleaded not guilty, but the evidence stacked against him was insurmountable. To avoid the death penalty, he eventually entered a plea deal in March 2016, admitting guilt to the murders of both Hannah and Morgan. In exchange, he received 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The court proceedings were an emotional ordeal for the victims' families, who faced the grim details of Matthew's predatory actions. The sentencing provided a sense of closure but left lingering questions about the systemic failures that allowed Matthew to evade justice for so long. Advocacy groups and lawmakers began calling for reforms in how sexual assault cases are handled, emphasizing the importance of maintaining comprehensive DNA databases and improving the reporting process for survivors. Hannah's case brought national attention to these issues, prompting changes in Virginia's laws. The state expanded its DNA database, requiring samples to be collected from individuals convicted of certain misdemeanors, in addition to felonies. This reform aimed to catch repeat offenders earlier and prevent further tragedies. Forensic advancements also played a pivotal role in closing cold cases linked to Matthew. After his conviction, investigators reviewed his connections to other unsolved crimes. While no additional charges were brought against him, the cases served as a stark reminder of the critical role technology plays in modern criminal investigations. The legacy of Hannah Graham and Morgan Harrington extends beyond the courtroom. Their families channeled their grief into advocacy and awareness efforts, ensuring their daughters' stories would not be forgotten. The Help Save the Next Girl organization, founded by Morgan Harrington's parents, gained momentum following Hannah's case. The nonprofit works to educate communities about personal safety and provides support to families of missing persons. Community resilience and activism became hallmarks of Charlottesville's response to the tragedy. Candlelight vigils, memorials, and campus initiatives kept Hannah's memory alive while reinforcing the importance of vigilance and compassion. Her story inspired students to take greater precautions and foster a culture of accountability within social circles. Jesse Matthews' diagnosis of stage 4 colon cancer in 2020 brought an unexpected twist to the story. While incarcerated, his health deteriorated, leading to his transfer to a medical facility. The news reignited discussions about justice, with some questioning whether his suffering in prison could serve as a form of penance. Ultimately, the resolution of Hannah's case stands as a testament to the power of community and the relentless pursuit of justice. Her tragic story serves as a somber reminder of the dangers predators pose and the importance of systemic change to protect vulnerable individuals. In the final section, we'll reflect on the broader implications of this case and the lessons it leaves for all of us. The tragedy of Hannah Graham serves as a stark reminder of the dangers predators pose and the urgent need for systemic reform. Her story, intertwined with the loss of Morgan Harrington, has left a legacy of advocacy and awareness that continues to inspire change. As we reflect on this dark chapter, let us honor Hannah's memory by staying vigilant, supporting reforms to protect vulnerable individuals, and fostering communities that prioritize safety and justice. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to support more in-depth explorations of cases that demand attention and action.